Hi, I'm Rich Heffron. This is this week's Delaware State Chamber Legislative Minute. Monday night was our annual dinner. We had over 1,000 people there. Our speaker was Dr. Bailey from the Nemours Foundation, the CEO and president of the Nemours Foundation. So I thought I'd get a good outline of exactly who Nemours is and what their relationship is to Delaware and what their future relationship will be. Essentially, Nemours is staying here. They're not going anywhere. Matter of fact, they'll be expanding. And we appreciate that message. And congratulations to Frank Biondi, really the father of the Financial Center Development Act back in the early 80s. Frank, it was interesting if you're at the dinner. I think you enjoyed it, the use of the video, to have people who knew Frank talk about him before it was announced by former Governor Castle that he was the winner. Frank is 83 years old. He's getting around, and I know how much he appreciated the award. It was very touching. I know his family appreciated it, and they were touched by it. And I think that's what that award's all about, people who've contributed to the community. And Frank certainly has. He was a leader in his times. And he carried the message, which was the message of the dinner. So our message, look, if we all work together, times are tough, but if we all work together, we'll get through this, and Delaware will be a better place. And we'll continue that theme. Good segue. Yesterday, the legislature went into session for this year. They'll be in for a couple weeks in January, then they break. So the Joint Finance Committee can meet, have hearings, put together the budget. They'll be back in the middle of March, where they'll go till about the middle of May. Then they'll break for spring break for around Easter. Then they'll go back in May and break at the end of May, another couple weeks to finalize the budget, and then they will adjourn on June 30th, actually the morning of July 1st. Looks like the budget's a little better shape because the DFACT discovered about $80 million. It's coming in over the next 2 years, which is an increase in collections and corporate income tax. Talking about corporate income tax, it's legislation we've worked on. We worked with the governor and the legislature. It was introduced to change our corporate tax collection system, to go from a 3-factor tax to 1 factor. This is important to people like the DuPont Company and Chemours and manufacturers. With compromise, we cut out some of the communications companies because they prefer the 3-factor, which I think is the way to do business. It's known as I want to make sure I get this right, Delaware Competes Act, which will allow us to compete with the surrounding states and other states in the country. Most states now have gone to the single-factor tax. So this puts us on even ground so we can compete. I think it's going to be a big plus in the future. And I commend the governor, leadership, both parties, both houses for working with us to get that done. Also, this week they're going to maybe vote to override the governor's veto of the opt-out bill that allows students to opt out of the testing. We always thought it was too broad. It was passed last year. The governor vetoed it. We don't think it's a good idea to opt out of testing because we'll have no way to measure where students are. No way to tell students and their parents what their weaknesses are. So, teachers and the parents and the student can work on their weaknesses. Also, let us know what progress we're making in our public school system. The bill was passed last year, allowing students to opt out. The governor vetoed it. I need 2/3 vote to override the veto. It will probably come up in the House today or tomorrow, but first there will be a vote to bring the bill back onto the floor. Our intelligence is they don't have the votes to bring the bill back on the floor, but we'll see. In any case, we oppose the opt-out provision. We just don't think it's wise. Lastly, I saw where John McMahon resigned as Secretary of Labor. I just want to say one thing about John. There is no more honorable man in this state, and probably in this country, than John McMahon. And frankly, I was a little disappointed in the reason he resigned, because I don't see that John McMahon would even tolerate any type of racial discrimination in the department or around him in any way. John, or Mickey as he's known by his friends, is honest, straightforward, He's a friend. I'm proud to say he's my friend, and I was very disappointed to see that he resigned. And I wish him the best. That's it for this week. Thank you for watching.